Harlem in the 70s, it wasn't just a neighborhood. It was a nation inside a city. A place where culture wasn't something you visited, it was something you lived. Harlem had its own rhythm, its own rules, its own way of turning everyday survival into something that looked like style, sounded like music, and felt like home. The streets had a pulse, not the fake kind, not the tourist version. I mean the real heartbeat of a community that knew who it was, even while the world tried to label it as something less. Harlem never moved like it was confused about its value. Harlem moved like it understood its legacy. That Pan-African consciousness, it wasn't a rumor, it was deliberate. You saw it in the walk. You heard it in how the elders spoke with purpose and how the younger folks actually listened. There was identity in the air, pride with direction, pride with roots. In the 1970s, the 5% Nation, also known as the Nation of Gods and Earths, was the invisible architecture of Harlem's social and spiritual life. If the 1960s were about the rise of the movement, the 70s were when it became the neighborhood's conscience, moving from a fringe group to a dominant cultural force on the streets. This was structure, language, discipline, and a worldview shared on corners and stoops. It was the idea that knowledge of self is the first battleground. Harlem didn't just produce culture, it produced thinkers. Community wasn't a cute word back then. Community was how you stayed afloat. If your mom's was working, the neighborhood was your safety net. Not in a nosy way, but in a we're not letting anything happen to ours way. Neighbors knew your name. Your family name meant something. Harlem raised you with accountability. And the kids? We played outside. It was development, social skills, toughness, and creativity happening right on the pavement. Double Dutch was art. 2 ropes, concrete, and a rhythm so tight it could teach a musician a lesson. The girls weren't just jumping, they were performing. Leadership, style, presence. And the boys? Stickball, skelly, football with whatever could bounce. Summer meant hydrants open, joy in the air, like the block itself was celebrating being alive. And the music, man, it wasn't background noise. It was the soundtrack of a people with something to say. Soul, funk, jazz, gospel, it all lived together. Coming out the windows, the cars, the parks. Music was joy, yeah, but it was also medicine. It reminded folks they were more than bills, more than pressure, more than whatever headlines tried to reduce them to. Food was care too, intention. Fried fish nights filling the hallway, greens cooked right, rice and peas that tasted like somebody put time in it. Sweet potato pie that felt like tradition still had a heartbeat. It was Black food culture standing strong, welcoming everyone else into the mix without ever losing itself. Harlem beauty was presence, self-respect, clean shoes, sharp fits, hair done, and a posture that said, "I'm not begging to be seen, I'm here." The women were elegance and power. The men understood that respect is a language and presentation is the first word. It was deeper than fashion. It was dignity. Now, I'm not going to romanticize it like there wasn't pressure. There was. Hard days, real struggles. But Harlem had resilience with soul. Even when things got heavy, Harlem didn't lose its mind. It didn't lose its humor, or its music, or its pride. That's not luck. That's culture. That's a community refusing to be broken. Harlem in the 70s was a classroom and a sanctuary. It taught you how to stand on principle, how to be sharp without being cruel, how to laugh when life tried to squeeze you. So when I remember those years, I'm not remembering streets. I'm remembering a people who knew their greatness, a people who protected their culture, a people who made beauty out of struggle without ever pretending the struggle was beautiful. That's the Harlem I'm talking about. The one that wasn't asking the world to validate it. The Harlem that already knew.